So I'll turn the mic. Is the microphone on? Can you hear me, you guys? If you can, type something in the chat box.
I think you're going to have to take your computer upstairs because I'm going to get feedback and I won't be able to hear his presentation unless he's sitting here and I know when to change the slides.
And nobody's typing, so apparently they can't hear me. And microphone is
said yep.
Okay. Microphone is the only thing we have on.
Yeah, hold on.
I see Janet. Yeah. Stacy, can you hear me? I'll try sending her a text. Okay, honey, I think we're almost ready. They can hear us. The microphone is on. So, let me send Stacy a text. So what do we need to do? Just start? Okay, we won't worry. Maybe Stacy will come on.
Okay.
So you can start talking now.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. We'll be getting started in just a minute, but meanwhile, please type in the chat box where you're coming in from. Let's see who's there.
Go ahead, Janet. Yeah? What?
Can you print off the notes
For you?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't see that?
No, because I'm just in the browser.
Okay, everybody hang on a second.
See, I can't see anything coming in.
I've got to find them again. Hang on.
Sorry, I should have that printed.
Script.
So sorry.
It's all right. It'll take a while. I'll give you the first pages and then I'll bring down the rest. Okay.
What, are you printing them?
She needs them.
So I can advance your slides because I'm only seeing the slideshow too.
Oh.
Why isn't that printing? That's why.
Yes, I was going to say use both hands.
You know what? I think I figured out. Look.
Okay.
You're good. Keep going.
Okay, Stacy's on.
Ray, you're good.
What was that?
She said you're good to go. You can start. Go ahead. She's got a copy of the.
You've got a
Yeah.
copy?
She can see them.
Okay. All right. We'll start again. Welcome, everyone. We'll be getting started in just a minute, but meanwhile, please type in the chat box where you're coming in from. Let's see who's there.
Go ahead and type it in, girls.
Janet here from Windsor, Colorado.
Yay.
And it looks as though that's Colorado represented. Can't see one from Stacy at the moment. I'll keep going, okay? Okay. I'm Ray Lincoln, author of the Amazon bestseller, I'm a Keeper, and founder of Inner Kinetics. We're really excited about sharing this proven, successful way to parent with you. And we're even more excited that you're with us today. While folk are logging in, let me ask you to type into the chat box briefly one word, if possible, which is the most concerning issue you are having with your child right now. Even just one word will do. Do we have one? Janet says there seems to be quite a lag. And when I send the message, and when you see it, yes, there is quite a lag.
That might be. And we can't probably worry about that, but hopefully there'll be more people on.
But it will change what I'm doing here. I can't wait forever.
No, you can't wait forever, so you just go on.
Okay. Well, today I'm going to tell you where to start in order to find the answers to many of your difficulties. We'll have some time for questions at the end, but for now, make yourself a note of your most pressing questions. If you don't see an answer as we progress through the webinar, then type it into the chat box when we start our Q&A, and I'll answer as many as we have time for. Okay, let's get started. First of all, I'd like to welcome you to an introduction to my parenting course, Understanding Your Child. I'm Ray Lincoln, and I'm so thankful to each and every one of you who tuned in today to learn what has been a focus of my life's work for many, many years. I know you're going to get a lot out of today's webinar, so please stay through to the end, and I'll hope I keep you wanting to. Before we begin, technology can be a wonderful thing, but it can also be wonderfully frustrating. In order to make sure you have the best experience today, please take a moment to turn off everything that is operating in the background of your device, including email systems, Skype, iTunes, or any extra programs. And I assume most, if not all of you here are parents, and that typically does not come without distractions. So if possible, silence your phone, close the door, give yourself a time to focus, and after all, you deserve the break. Now, as I mentioned before, make sure to stay tuned till the end, because we have a special bonus offer for those who complete the journey with us today. And we're offering a drastically reduced rate to register for the full online parenting course, which comes with 5 complete sessions and a ton of bonus materials to allow you to become an expert in your child's temperament. So stay tuned. You really don't want to miss that offer. Okay, first of all, let's get something straight. Parenting is hard. So congratulations on accepting the most difficult and demanding job in the universe. Why is it the most difficult? Because you're raising the most complicated organism in the universe. How can that be simple or easy? So claim the honor you deserve. Parenting can be full of trauma, joy, satisfaction, disappointment, and heartache. Just imagine this. A very distressed mom came to me, and she said she was sitting in bed with her 6-year-old son, and without warning, he said in a low, determined voice, "I will kill you one day." Shocked and stunned, she couldn't think of what to say. My point here is, parenting can be like that. A challenge full of high-stakes drama at times. Thankfully, though, this story came to a great conclusion. When I woke up this morning, I looked in the mirror. Did you? Now, that's not a good thing for me to do. I'm a little weathered, you see. When I looked at myself, I could see clearly how I was made on the outside, but what I couldn't see is how I was made on the inside. Now, you are the expert on your child's behavior, the outside. But wouldn't you love to know what your child is thinking and feeling when they do or don't do what you ask them to? And wouldn't you love to know what inner urges and drives are shaping their lives and what are not? There is a mirror that will show us how we're made on the inside. And I promise you, before we're through this webinar, you'll see something of how your children are made on the inside and why they feel, think, and act the way they do. Then, if you want to carry your knowledge further, I've developed a full parenting course that will complete the picture and show you how to respond to these situations and challenges. So bear with me a moment as I explain what in the world we're talking about. Each of us, including your child, has a package, if you like, of core strengths inside that we call temperament. And these urges or drives shape our lives and develop distinct preferences. It's not a recent discovery. In fact, it was written about some 2.5 millennia ago. Books have even been written about how the great novelists cast their characters according to these 4 temperaments. Here's a fun example. When we read the novel, we say, "Oh, I know how she feels. I know what she'll do next." And in the novel, she does. And then we say, "I know that other character. He's that kid at the end of the block." You see, great novels are real to life, and temperament does it. From the ancient Greeks to the present day, we have used and studied how we're made on the inside. And today, the assessments like my temperament key are used more than all the other psychological tests put together. Tens of millions of people have done these tests, and with all the research, we can now know with astounding detail how a person thinks and feels and why they act the way they do, and among many other things, we can even know how to motivate them. There's a tremendous amount of help for the parent. By the way, have you downloaded the Child Temperament Key? That's where to start to find out how your child is made on the inside. If you haven't, don't do it now, but after this hour, schedule some time to find out. Why is it so important? Here's an eye-opener for most of us. You can't bond with your child. Yes, that's right. You can't. You see, they have to bond with you, the parent. And they won't bond with you if they feel you don't understand them. Understanding your child and their hidden urges of temperament is the super key to great parenting and lasting bonds. Let me illustrate that. You go down to the local coffee house and start talking with someone. Then you suddenly realize this person doesn't understand you. Do you continue the conversation? No, you avoid them. Your child avoids you, disconnects from you too, if they feel you don't understand them. We all want to create a bond as early as possible, and this becomes desperately important when teenage comes. Now note this. Seldom is the child the same temperament as the parent. That's something a lot of parents have not come to terms with. I find that most parents parent by the BLM method. Do you know what that is? Be like me. We were children once, and we think we know how a child should act. So we fall into the trap of parenting them like ourselves, like how We are made on the inside. Your child is most likely different from you, and the BLM method just won't work. It can make them more defiant and angry. Have you experienced that? Another common problem parents face is information overload of advice, plus one-size-fits-all parenting techniques. I walked into Barnes & Noble some time ago to inspect the parenting section, and there were 100 or more books on parenting. Can you believe it? Which one do you choose? Probably one someone recommended. But will it work for you? That's the million-dollar question. So I said to myself, well, I'll just have to write another. But I wrote one that shows you how to parent your child according to who the child is, according to their temperament, not yours or somebody else's. And it's now an Amazon bestseller, and people in over 10 countries are reading it. To illustrate my point, a mum came to me and said she'd read one of those other books on how to parent. I won't tell you its name, it's popular and you may have read it. She said she had applied its advice to her 4 children. One of them responded very well, and it worked perfectly for that child. But the same methods made the other children mad. She asked me, what's wrong with my other 3 children? Well, we did a child temperament key on all 4, and as I suspected, the one child that responded well happened to be the same temperament as the author of the book. The other children were of different temperaments. We changed the way the mum parented the other 3 so that she was parenting each of them according to their temperaments, and then all responded well. Please understand your child and parent them according to their temperament. If we don't, we anger them instead of teaching them. I want today's webinar to introduce you to the 4 temperaments and give you some of the understanding and know-how that has transformed so many homes. The complete parenting course on understanding your child, which I will tell you more about shortly, will teach you what you need to know to be successful. If you've completed the temperament keys for your children, you will have 2 letters that comprise the child's temperament. They're either the SP, SJ, NT, or NF. The letters are simply shorthand for all the information and proven science we now know about them. And please note, in the stories I'm about to tell you, the names and some personal details have been changed, of course. Would you like to take a look at the 4 temperaments? Just wait until we get to the NF. They will test you to the limits. So the first is the SP child. It may be your child. They're charming, pleasant, and they live in the excitement of the moment. They're very active and tactically skilled. They crave their freedom. But they are brave risk takers, daring at heart. And if you say, see that log there? You'd better look before you leap. They say, leap. And over the log they go and break their leg. And now they're in hospital, leg up in traction. And they're grinning from ear to ear and saying, please tell all my friends, I want them to come and see me. And if you are an SJ parent, you're probably saying, you don't want them to see you like this. You did a foolish thing. But they are pleading because that leg is now a badge of honor, solid proof that they are daring and brave, don't you see? You have to understand them and the urges that shape them. They want to be known for those strengths that make them who they really are. They're all about action and seldom sit still, and they're distracted by anything that looks interesting. So they often get diagnosed with ADHD. Psychologist in South Africa emailed me and said her son was on Ritalin. And after reading my book, I'm a Keeper, she took him off Ritalin. But don't you do that without consulting your doctor. She did what my book, I'm a Keeper, says to do, to achieve control. And she wrote, I want to tell you 3 things. What you teach in your book works. Second, it's hard. And third, I'd rather face the hard training than have my son on medication. Medication is needed in some cases, but sometimes it's prescribed where training methods can do the job. And when trained to control those urges, the child is then in mastery of them, not the other way around. SPs are naturally all about action and squeezing the last drop of pleasure out of every moment. They're exciting and wonderful. Now, the SJ is different. In fact, the opposite, but still wonderful. They're pleasant and charming, but cautious. They want to be responsible and reliable. And if you say, see that log? You'd better look before you leap. They hear, look, and they peer around the log and shrink back, unwilling to risk a broken leg. All SJs applaud this caution. SJ children are helpers, and they love helping too. Please them. Another mum came and told me this story. I was at the kitchen counter making cookies, and my 3-year-old SJ daughter was standing on a stool beside me and was helping. Suddenly I looked, and the flour was everywhere. Without thinking, I yelled, "What a mess!" And she dropped her head back down off the stool and slunk away. 2 hours later, she did something I never had heard her do before. I called out, "Honey, come and help me." And she shouted, "No." "What did I do wrong?" the mum asked. I said, you didn't understand how she was made. She needed to be a helper. Who she was at the very core. And you opposed her strength forcefully. This is how you should have done it. She actually tried this later, and it went like this. The mum suddenly saw the mess, the flour everywhere, and she turned, smiled, and said in a tender voice, "Oh, honey, when I was your age, I don't think I could have made such a big mess. Would you like to help me clean it up?" And the little girl said, "Uh-huh," and proceeded to be the helper she was. Understand your child. Know those urges of their temperament, and don't clash with them head on. It makes sense, doesn't it? One more story about the major need of an SJ child. A mum came to see me and told this story. My daughter is 6, and we've lived in the same house, same friends, same school, same church for 6 years. One day I said to her, "Honey, we're going to be moving to a new home in a new town a long way from here. Daddy has a new job there, and it's going to be exciting." And she broke down in tears. For the 2 weeks before we moved, I couldn't calm her. I said, "You'll be having new friends." And she really broke down in tears. She'd been a great student, good grades, and the teacher said she wished all her kids were like my daughter. We got to the new town, and the grades plummeted. The teacher called and said, my daughter was the worst behaved in class, and I said, "Can't be. but it was true. A few weeks later, I said to her, "Honey, Daddy is going to be living somewhere else, and you'll see him occasionally, but I will take care of you, I promise." And she broke down in tears again. About 2 weeks after that, she made a very serious attempt at suicide and was rushed to the hospital. After what seemed like an eternity, the doctor came out and said, "We did all we could, and we only just saved her." It was then this mother came to me. We discovered that her daughter was an SJ, the temperament whose need to feel secure is great. We put all the routines back in place in the home and did all we could to create a sense of security and routine. Doing things the same tomorrow as we did today was part of it, and in 3 months, she was back to normal. Grades were up, and the behavior was good. What's the lesson that makes such sense? Please understand your child is who she is and what beats inside of her. Learn how to parent an SJ who craters in the face of insecurity. The NT child is different, very different. They are typically cool, calm, and collected, all about their heads. One story I think will suffice. Jake was 9 and was upstairs creating a fantastic Lego model of his own design. His mother, who was annoyed that he wasn't downstairs doing his chores, this was a constant problem, marched up the stairs and said in an emotional and strong voice, "Jake, you're supposed to be downstairs doing your chores. Get downstairs now and do your chores." She turned and went downstairs. 10 minutes later, he still wasn't down there. Now, you see, mothers have a strange thing that happens at times. It's called rising heat on the inside. She was really angry. She stormed up the stairs and shouted, "Jake, stand up." Slowly, he stood up. "I told you to get downstairs and do your chores," she railed, and she truly unloaded on him. She'd had enough. She called him names, even cursed him while he stood there just looking at her. She said the thing that angered me most was that I couldn't even make him flinch. I asked him later, "What were you thinking when your mother dressed you down?" He said, "Something's wrong with my mother. She needs help." You see, his mom did not understand an NT. NTs despise emotion and won't do anything that does not make sense to them. He despised his mother, and she would have to take the long road to earn back that lost respect. But she soon learned how to make it make sense to him. And you'll learn this too in the course. Understanding your child. Along with other NT secrets, you'll learn a lot. As parents, we can understand not only our child, but also ourselves, and do a lot of harm when we don't know who our child is and how to parent them according to their temperament. Now for that NF child, who is your greatest treasure and your worst nightmare, all rolled into one. One moment their words can be dripping with sweet emotion as they romantically intone, "I love you," and the very next filled with caustic bitterness, using the words, "I hate you." And we say, "What's going on?" What can we do? How do you raise a child whose emotions are so volatile and unpredictable? And mark this, if they are not taught how to control them, they will end up very reactionary, all to their real harm. The NF child is complicated. And many of the inner urges like sensitivity, passion, introspection, and their strong desire for harmony are issues we need to learn how to direct without making matters worse. One story again will suffice, although I could tell you many. Jesse was 8. According to his parents, he'd always been very prone to getting angry, but of late it was getting worse. And they'd done all they could to control it without any success. His anger is violent and very frequent, they reported. What can we do? His brother, twice his size, is scared of him. And we are at times scared too. I said, go home. And next time he's angry, whoever is nearest, go up to him, put your arm around him, and say with obvious care and love in your voice, I made him practice, oh, Jesse, I'm so sorry you're hurt. What can I do to help you? Then phone and tell me what he does. 2.5 hours later, I got a phone call. It was amazing, his mother said. What was amazing, I asked. He broke into tears, she said. Fine. Make an appointment and come on in. We did the temperament key and he tested as an INFJ. This is a rare type, but it was all I needed to know. First, I made sure the parents understood what those letters meant and who he was, and also that anger was okay, as long as when he got angry, he did the right things and not the wrong things. So we taught him, and he was quite receptive to finding out how to control his anger. Then we taught the parents how to help him go to bed happy, not angry. Jesse learned well in those 2 weeks. The mum called up and reported, we have a peaceful home. 3 months later, all was still well. Jesse could use all of that emotional strength for great purposes, not destructive ones. With the NF, note this, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And teaching an NF child how to control their emotions so that they are master of themselves rather than the emotions mastering them is the greatest gift you can give them. Learn how. Parenting is all about understanding your child before you can teach, discipline, and develop their urges in the way that makes a child and a parent happy. All this just makes sense. Don't oppose the urges that are going to shape your child's life. Direct them and develop them. And we can never do that if we don't understand them. So how do you get this understanding? I'm about to tell you about that and also about that very special bonus I mentioned earlier that is only for those who register for this course while this webinar is still running. The first step is to complete the child temperament key and learn how your child is made. The key will give you 4 letters that identify your child's type and temperament. Next, you need to learn what those letters mean and how they apply to your child, so you can parent your child according to how your child is made, not according to tips and advice that are not applicable to your child. Let's recap why you showed up today and what this program can do for you. You want to fully understand how your child is made on the inside and to parent them according to their strengths and drives. You want to make the parenting easier by having a blueprint to follow. You may have discovered that your child is very different than you and you need a guide. You want to prevent catastrophic consequences that come from not bonding with your child and not understanding what motivates them. Remember, nothing I've shared with you today is only theory. Temperament has been researched, observed, and documented since 380 BC. My contribution to the decades of study is to take this knowledge and turn it into real application. That's where my parenting courses can help you. And the first course is called Understanding Your Child. This course is based on my I'm a Keeper parenting workshop that I present live, but I've made it easier for parents with busy schedules, tight budgets, and who would need expensive babysitters by creating an online version. And to top that off, I've added in bonuses that were never included in the live presentation. I'm about to tell you about them. Now you can begin the process of understanding your child so you can parent according to who your child is, right in the confines of your own home, and both parents can take the course together or at their individual convenience. Here's what you will get. The main body of the course is comprised of 5 video lessons. Each lesson has a snapshot to preview and tell you what to focus on as you view the main video, and comes with a downloadable PDF to guide you through internalizing and applying what you are learning. The first lesson will fully immerse you in understanding the meaning of the letters. And you will not only learn the detail of your child's temperament, but we'll add to the additional 2 letters along with their meanings to fully understand their complete type as well. I have to reword that. You will learn why some children feel different and suffer from low self-images as a result. Those of you who happen to have the rare NF child definitely need this course. It can prevent all those problems. But other temperaments suffer from negative self-talk as well. It will reveal causes of sibling rivalry, of which you're probably unaware. If you have more than one child or plan to, discover why siblings irritate each other and how to resolve issues calmly and with confidence. Have you ever wondered why your children are so different from each other? We'll discover why children raised in the same household can be so very different in attitudes and how to manage the cocktail of emotions that may be plaguing your home. The second lesson will help you understand the active SP. You'll receive practical knowledge of how to channel this unending energy into positive and constructive outlets. You will dive deeper into your understanding of how this little tactical mind thinks, acts, and behaves, giving you the upper hand in what can seem like a tough child to manage at times. Chances are you will encounter plenty of them after all. They make up about 40% of the population. The third lesson will focus on the SJ. There are more SJs in our society than any of the other temperaments, although the SJ can be a joy to parent due to their rule-abiding, cooperative, helpmate tendencies. They also struggle with wanting their fair share of control. In younger ages, when limits are being tested, these little SJs can present parents with a stubborn streak that can make heads spin. In this lesson, you'll learn how to best manage their day-to-day struggles and how to deal with insecurities that can derail the best of intentions. In lesson 4, we'll enter the world of the N's with a careful look at the NT. NT children can leave you scratching your head, especially to an SJ or SP parent who can sometimes find it difficult to relate to this way out-of-the-box thinker and analyzer. You'll learn how to match logic for logic in this highly cerebral child. You'll discover how to stimulate their interests, place them on a path to success, and develop a wonderful, loving bond. It's important that with any N child, they feel understood and accepted, since they typically feel very different from their S peers. The final lesson will help you understand the complicated NF emotions. NF, there's no period. Emotions are the most difficult road to navigate, and the NF child struggles with an overabundance of emotions on a daily basis. This course is an absolute must if you happen to be raising one of these wonderfully loving but highly emotional beings. The NF child must be understood and taught how to fully handle such a variety of feelings, turn them into a positive outcome, and prevent being crippled by low self-esteem, low self-worth, and negative self-talk. In addition to the full parenting course, there are several bonuses that you'll receive. First, you'll have complete access to 3 of my ebooks, How to Create a More Peaceful Home, Stop the Yelling, and 2 parental tasks to keep the volume down. All 3 of these ebooks are filled with practical application that you can begin implementing in your home immediately for instant results. The second set of bonuses include 3 audio recordings, Developing Your Child's Self-Esteem by Temperament, Parenting with Understanding and Confidence, and the greatest tool for handling anger in a sensitive child. These audio recordings are perfect to enhance your understanding of temperament. And if you remember, there's a very special bonus I promised, only to those who stayed with me to hear about it and who register for Understanding Your Child while this webinar is running. Here it is. Your very special bonus that only goes to those who purchase the course during the webinar will be this. The online parenting course that I just described sells for $130. I'm offering a $33 discount for the next 7 days following the webinar, so you'll be able to receive the full 5-course program plus the 3 ebooks and the 3 audiobooks for $97 until the cart closes on May 17th, 2017 at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time. However, if you purchase before the end of this webinar, I'm offering an additional $22 off. So you can get the course and all the bonuses for only $74.95, a total discount of $55 off the regular program price. If you would like to take advantage of this discount, we're placing a link in the chat box now that will take you to the registration page. The testimonials and experience of thousands of parents tell us that application of this understanding about their children have revolutionized their homes into peaceful, bonded relationships. We're confident you'll have the same experience, so confident, in fact, that we're offering a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. You can get the details of the guarantee from the link on the checkout page. There are just minutes left, so click on that link right away and enter your details while we go to our Q&A session. Then come back and enter into the conversation, ask your questions, and listen to those of others. You may hear the answer to some of your issues in theirs. So what are you waiting for? Start the process and begin to enjoy parenting like never before. Enjoy the pleasure of seeing your child glow as he or she realizes you really do understand them. Bring the peace into your home that only understanding can give. Learn more about how wonderfully your children have been made and how important their strengths are to your home and our world at large. Be the parent you've longed to be, a parent who truly understands their child. I'm going to begin the countdown timer that'll mark the end of this special bonus pricing, so click on that link right away and enter your details while we go to our Q&A session. Then come back and enter into the conversation. Ask your questions, listen to those of others. You may hear the answer to some of your issues in theirs. At this time, I'm happy to take questions from those attending the live seminar.
You guys see the link that Natalie put in? Type in your chat box and tell me if you could see it. I can't see it, so I don't know whether you can or not. What does this mean on the registration? I'm not sure what you mean.
No.
So our clock is running. Stacy, looks good and it works. What's your temperament, Ray? Is what Janet asked for the Q&A. So that's where you'll start reading
Yes.
these, you see.
Yeah, it's written that way. Event SP. I don't know what that is. I've such a dry throat.
Okay, Janet can see the offer. What do you I don't know what you're seeing, Stacy, that says event SP.
Remember when I told you that when you click on to register, it's called event?
Oh, okay, Stacy. Let me explain that. That is an optional purchase of the I'm a Keeper book, and it's an event price is what that is. So it's the I'm a Keeper book that they can also purchase when they purchase the program if they want to, but it's not required. Does that answer your question, Stacy?
The SP, instead of capitalizing the P, it sounds like the SP temperament instead of event special.
I'll have to see if I can change that
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
But I have to do that in another program. Janet, that was on the checkout page. Did you click the link and were you able to go to the checkout page? It's down at the bottom, Janet, where you tap the button for the course, and then underneath that, thanks, Stacy. I'm glad PayPal works. And when they get when this event closes and they can't buy it anymore, just an FYI, then we'll change the price to $97, but they'll have an option for a two-pay at 2 payments of $50. So it's still a big discount, but if they want 2 pays, they're going to have to pay just a tad more. Thanks, Janet. You can see it now. Okay, so I'm glad you could see the link. We couldn't see it on the presenter's chat box, so I didn't know whether you could see it or not. So I guess we'll probably get questions from people if they can't see it. So I'm assuming everything will go all right in that department. I've made a list of some things that I know we need to do before Wednesday. And if you have, it's things like, yes, Stacy, turn off my email notices and turn off my calendar reminders and stuff like that. I've got to get those sounds turned off. And we're going to start this thing like an hour before in case we have some glitches like we had tonight. And let's see. I don't know do you think it would be beneficial to put the link on a slide as well as in the chat box when we get to that point? I guess we can add it without a problem. Wednesday is at 11 o'clock and at 8 p.m., I think, are the 2 times. Did you see the registration, Stacy? I think when you click on the registration, it shows you both times that you can choose from. Wow, 2 minutes is a long time, Janet. Okay, if you have any additional thoughts, send us an email or a text. Is there a link for what registration? The registration for the webinar. It's in the emails. You should have gotten an email today if you're on our mailing list, and I'm sure you are, Stacy. Surely. And it'll have a place to click to register for the webinar. And this is, of course, the webinar that we'll be presenting Wednesday, but hopefully in better form than we did tonight. Check that email, and if you didn't get it, I will send you a link, okay? In fact, I'll send you a link anyway. So let me see if I can't locate one for you right quick. Thanks, Janet. I appreciate that. Stacy, I'll send you that link when we get through with this little exercise. I'm going to have to locate it again. I'm sure I've got it numerous places, but my mind's fried right now. Got a point there, Stacy. Although I think that there are links within the email as well. Do you see any links in the email? Thanks for the encouragement, Stacy. We need everything we can get. We've been kind of frazzled this week, to say the least. I think it's been the worst week we have ever had, stress-wise. It's just been crazy. But we think Frontier Airlines went well, so that's a plus.
Maybe come back again.
Right. Well,
Total mess up.
so you see this farm. We can't get rid of that farm unless we pre-record everything you said and say there's a video, and then stop the video during the live Q&A session and we just do that farm. So if you're doing a slide presentation, it will always have to be hard, because what I'm doing is I'm sharing that presentation, and it doesn't get rid of it, because if I were to play your presentation in full screen, it would shut down the webinar. So I have to put it in here, and that's why for webinars now, that if you're running a presentation, you have to anyway, we should figure that. So whether our chance fix that is record, if you're doing a slide presentation, record the whole thing on a video, and then you can upload the video.
It's a good point, Stacy, about the links being gray. They show up blue on mine, so I don't know how maybe I can just make them force them to be a color. I don't know. I need to take a look at that. I don't think I can force them as a color in the system that we use. We don't have a color choice in that email that I know of. I'll ask Natalie to work on that, because she's my tech guru when it comes to drip and stuff. Well, thanks, guys. I'll let you sign off and get back to your family. It's 8:25, so just thanks for being on here. Appreciate it. Beaucoup. And we'll talk soon. In fact, I guess we'll see you tomorrow night at Continuing Education. Maybe bold them. That's a good point. Thanks, Stacy. All right. Good night.